everybody, welcome back to my channel. Do you remember last year everybody was making spiral betties, and I did a video on how to do it, and this is the one that I made for my video. If you haven't seen how to make a spiral betty, I will link that above here now for you, and also down below in the description, just in case you haven't actually seen my video. But this looks really awesome. Look how complicated it looks, and you can see why it's called a spiral betty, because the image is made up from a spiral of vinyl, and I made this one pretty easily on the Spiral Betty website, but I've noticed that they've got a couple of different options on there now. You can do a line Betty or you can do a dotty Betty as well, and I'm going to show you how I did one of those today. I'm going to go through it from start to finish. So we'll import our image onto the computer, then we'll get it onto the Spiral Betty website, and then I'll show you how to get that into Cricut Design Space, make it so that it's going to work as a cut file rather than a print then cut, and go through all of the different steps that you need to complete a line Betty or a dotty Betty, or indeed a spiral Betty, depending on which one you want to use. So without any further ado, let's get started. So the first thing that you'll need to do if you want to make a spiral Betty is to go on to www.spiralbetty.com, and you can see that website on the screen now, and this is how it comes up when you get onto their website. And so if you're not familiar with what a spiral Betty is, as you can see down in the bottom right hand corner here, there is an example of a spiral Betty, and what it basically is any image that you upload here into this circle can become one of these awesome images. And basically what I think it looks like is a little bit like a vinyl record, you know, with all the lines that go around the record, but the lines are done and cut in such a way that it makes your image come onto your record almost. So what you can do is either have it as a round one like this, you can do it as lines, and you can do it as dots. I've done the spiral one before, and I have that in a video which I'll link up above for you now, but also I haven't done the line one, so that's the one I'm going to do today, and I'm going to do a dots one as well for you, but I think I'll probably do that in a separate video. So what we need to do first of all is upload our image. So what you want to do is either go onto here and click on upload image in the center, or you can do it here and click on upload image. So what we're going to do is upload it first of all by just clicking on the center of that circle. Okay, so I've got some pictures here. Let's go to recents, and there is the image that I want to use. I'm just going to double click on that, and there it is. That's the picture of my daughter and one of our dogs. That's Dotty. And what you'll want to do now is mess about with your settings. So you can move this by zooming in and out, so we can zoom right in onto Dot, or we can just go all the way back out to there, and I think I want it like that. And then once you're happy with the aspect of your image, just click on the little tick there, and it turns it into your spiral. So what I would recommend is to have your design be quite a good size when you put it into Design Space, because you don't want to have too many thin parts so that your design will rip or not cut properly on your machine. So first of all, I'm going to go over to the top here and switch to the lines, because I want it to be the square one. I'm going to turn it into this pink because I just find it easier to see, but you can change the color of your design if you prefer to see it in a green and a yellow, or green and blue. I just can see it better in the pinky colors. So now what you need to do is make the detail of your design how you want it to be. So you've got all these different options down at the bottom. You've got lines, angle, lightness and contrast. What I would suggest you do is just use the slider here to go up and down and just see what they do. So of course we can't see the image at all now, but if we go all the way back, this depends how far we go to the end, how really detailed that image is going to be. And I wouldn't recommend going all the way to the end, because those lines are so thin there that it's going to be really hard for your machine to cut, and it's also going to be difficult for you to weed. So I want it to be pretty detailed, but don't want it to be overly, so I'm going to go to about there. let's have a look at what angle does. So angle, if we move it, turns our lines. All right, so you can either have them dead straight across or you can have them at the angle, and I quite like the angle that it was with, so let's just do that. Okay, you can crop your design if you want to crop out anything, but I'm happy with that. Okay, so let's just change the lightness and see what that does. So you can see it really changes it. How do we want it to be? I think how it was perfect, so let's put it back about there. And then you've got contrast as well. Again, makes a really big change to your design. So let's just put it back roughly where it was. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me. So now we're happy with the design. We need to click on this button here and we can click on download. So let's do that. So now you have a couple of options come up here. It's free to use Spiral Betty for personal use, as it says here, which is non-commercial uses. If you are selling these designs or you think that you might want to sell them, you will need to click on this commercial licensing here. So click on that and you'll go through and they'll tell you how much it is to use Spiral Betty for a commercial purpose. So you can do that if you are selling. I'm not selling, so I'm just going to click on download. You can also choose to donate to Spiral Betty by buying Betty a coffee. So you can click on here and send some money over to Betty. So I'm just going to click on my little downloads button up here and I can see that it's there. So that's ready to go. It's a PNG file as standard, so it's perfect for Cricut Design Space. So let's just hop now over to Cricut Design Space. So here we are then in Cricut Design Space and we've got a blank canvas. So what we need to do now is upload our image that we've just made on the Spiral Betty website. So if we come over to upload here on the left hand side, and then you'll need to go to upload image, and then you'll need to click on browse. Then you'll need to find where your image saved to. So there it is. Let's click on open. Okay, so there is our image, and what we want to do now is click on complex and click on continue. And now we can see that this is one whole design. If we click on the preview cut image here, you'll see that it is going to be just one big grey square. And that is of course not what we want it to look like. So we are going to have to remove the yellow portion of the design. So Cricut has this automatic background remover, but I have found it's actually not that good for Spiral Betty, and I'll show you why. Let's click on remove background. So there you go. It doesn't really know what it's doing and it's not done anywhere near what we want it to do. So I'm just going to click on revert and I'm going to manually do it. So if I click on select here, and then what I shall do is zoom in a little bit just by using this one down the bottom, and I want to make sure that my mouse is going to be touching the yellow portion. So if I click on that now, all of that yellow has disappeared and it's really a lot more efficient than using the automatic background remover. Don't get me wrong, the automatic background remover really has its own place for Cricut Design Space, but sometimes manual is the only way to go. If I click on preview cut image again now, you can see that's how we want it to cut. So if I go to apply and continue, so we've now got two options come up. We have the cut image and we have the print then cut image. So we can now just click on the cut image. So we've got the green border around there, and then click on upload. And you can see I've got the two different ones here. Now I'm going to just click on there and add that to the canvas. Okay, it comes in really, really huge. And of course, we've got this yellow warning triangle here, which will say not supported by Maker, image is too large. Reduce the image size, as we know we need to do. So I'm going to reduce my image size down to about 20 centimeters because I want it to be a really good size and I don't want my machine to struggle to cut it. So there is my design. So now if I just go through to make it, there's my design in the left hand corner. I'm going to leave it exactly where it's come out on the mat. I'm just going to go through to continue. And I'm just going to connect to my machine via Bluetooth. The vinyl that I'm going to be using today is a metallic vinyl, so if you've never used that before or you haven't got it in your favourite, what you'll need to do is click on Browse All Materials, and then if you scroll down you've got all of the different materials that you can cut with a maker, so those are all there. Or if you are at the top you can just go into this search box and type in vinyl, and then you've got lots of different options, and the one I'm going to choose today is metallic vinyl. Just make sure that you've selected it and it's got a tick next to it. Click on done, and then I'm also going to put my pressure to more because my blade has been in this machine now for almost 12 months. It was the 2nd of March that I put this blade in and it's done really well. It still cuts well, but it does need more pressure. So now let's hop over to the machine, pop the mat in and start the cut. So this is the vinyl that I'm going to be using today. As I said, it is a metallic silver vinyl. It's from MDP Supplies. I'll link everything below for you. And I'm just going to measure it out to be a little bit bigger than my design. My design's about 20 centimetres. I'm just going to make this piece about 22 centimetres. And I'm going to pop it onto my mat. I'm just using a light grip mat today, but it is one that I have restuck using the sticky mat adhesive. One really important point to mention is that when you're choosing your vinyl for your Spiral Betty, you need to make sure that your vinyl is going to be a contrasting colour to the background that it's going to be put onto. So as I'm using this silver, I would need to put my design when it's finished onto a black background. And you'll see at the end the difference between those two colours with the white of the actual backing paper of the vinyl compared to the black background that I'm actually going to put it onto. So just braid it down, make sure it's stuck nicely, and now I'm going to pop it in the machine. So my machine is ready now to take the mat in. So I'm just going to press the flashing double-ended arrow on my maker and my machine is going to get ready to do the cut. I'm now going to press the go button and the machine is going to start cutting out all of the lines for the Spiral Betty. Now this does take quite some time to do, so I'm going to speed it up a little bit and then we will get to the interesting part once it's cut of getting the weeding done. So now that the cut has finished, we just need to trim off this excess vinyl. So I'm just going to do that with a craft knife. Let's show you this as close up as I can. So you can see now how the Cricut has cut all of the lines there. So we need to now take out each of the pieces that comes right up to this edge here. So one that I did yesterday, I did it the opposite way round and I took off just from the corner and peeled it all the way back. But all that does is give me a negative image. So it's basically like if you had a photograph and you got a negative when you used to get photographs many years ago, that is exactly what your picture will look like. So we need to weed all of these pieces out. So I'll start off in this corner. And I may need to use my pin pen for this, but at the moment this standard weeding tool seems to be working okay. So I'm just going to lift it from the corner and just pull it up. So I'll speed this part up so that you don't get fed up of watching it, but if you're watching all the way through on the sped up version, you'll probably see the image coming to life on the screen, but it's going to be upside down. So just thought I'd show you this now. I'm actually pulling up about 8 or 9 strands of the Spiral Betty in one go, and then getting them in my hand and just pulling them back all at the same time, because these are really full of static when you lift them up. So you don't want them to be one at a time getting stuck back onto your project. So I would recommend that you pull up as many as you can at the same time without getting too tangled. So just lift them and grab them with your other hand, and then that will enable you to pull them all back in one go. And then also it's a little bit quicker. So until you are confident to do that, I would do them all at one strand at a time. But once you know what you're doing with it, you can pull it back like I am now. As you can see, they're really staticky and all stuck to me, and then you can just ball that up and put it to one side, ready to go into the bin. Alright, so there it is, all done, and they're all peeled back, and now you can see the image is my daughter and again one of the dogs. I'm going to grab some transfer paper, and I'm actually going to transfer this onto a piece of black cardstock, and I'm going to then put it in a little frame and give it to Shelby because I think she'll really like that. This transfer paper, if you haven't seen this before, this is my favourite transfer paper. It's low tack, so you can use it on all sorts of projects, all sorts of surfaces. It won't cause damage, it won't stick and pull back colours on balloons or anything like that. If you haven't seen my video about my favourite transfer paper, I will link that one above for you as well. So this is going to go onto this transfer paper now. So I've just peeled it off of the cutting board, and then I'm going to just grab this. Let's just cut that little piece off there. Alright, let's get this. Pop that onto there. And then I am just going to use a squeegee to just adhere that to my piece of transfer paper. So now what we need to do is just give this a really good burnish on this side also. You can see there's a bit of glue there that's come off of my Cricut mat, because that is one of the ones that I used the matte adhesive, the sticky matte adhesive on, so that glue is obviously coming up onto my squeegee, which isn't actually ideal. Right, so that is on there now, and you can probably see the stripes of the vinyl through the other side. So let's grab our piece of cardstock. So what I'm going to do now is peel back this backing paper. So there is my design, and it's stuck really, really nicely to that transfer paper. And the good thing as well about this particular transfer paper is that when you put it onto cardstock, and even once you've burnished it or you've used your brayer, it still won't damage that cardstock. You won't get any pulling up of the surface of your cardstock or anything like that, which is really, really good. Actually, I'm going to do it this way around so that I get it in exactly the right spot, because I can't see through this to see where it's going to go, but I'm going to line it up spot on with this side of the vinyl here. That'll be nice and straight, and I will be able to trim off the excess vinyl then from the bottom. Just give it a good press down. I'm going to turn that over, and I am going to use my brayer now just to go over the top. And then I'm just going to peel back this transfer paper. And if you find that you've got any lifting, what I like to do is just get my squeegee and I press that behind my transfer paper, and then I hold my transfer paper onto my design, and as I pull I'm pressing at the same time, so it's actually pressing my design down. And obviously as you get a bit more further over the other side, you are going to find that your piece is a lot wider than your squeegee, but it will still work. You just need to move it across as you go. So pull back a little bit, so we know this side's good, and then we can come over to this side and pull back a little bit, like a diagonal, like so. And then again, now we can come back over here and pull back again on the diagonal. So let's get all this off, and then we can have a look at how much this design shows up so well on the black cardstock. So can you see how much that picture has improved now that it's gone on to the black background? Doesn't it look amazing? And also I can see a tiny bit here that I've missed, so I can just weed that out with my nail, but it looks fabulous. I'm going to pop a picture in now so that you can see what it looked like before I put it onto the black when it was on that white background. And do you remember when I was saying about selecting your vinyl depending on the background colour that you're going to be using? And this is exactly why. So you can see if you're going to be using a white background, you really need to be using a dark vinyl. If you are using a light vinyl and you're going to be using a light background like this silver, and you're going to be putting it on a white background like it was originally on its backing sheet, that's when you're not really going to show up your picture. But as you can see, once I transferred this silver vinyl onto this black cardstock, it really does make that design pop, and you can see the design absolutely perfectly now. So that is the straight line Spiral Betty. I'm going to do the dotty one as well, but I think I'm going to put that into a separate video for you. So look out for that one in the future, and I can't wait to get into that one as well. I'm hoping it's going to come out a little bit like a pop art type thing, and I'm going to try, I think, and use some different vinyls and actually layer my vinyls on the mat to make them so it does come out like that. So watch out for that one in the future. Thanks for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, I'd love to see you again for the next one. So don't forget to subscribe. Drop me any questions or comments that you might have down below. And if you have learned something new and you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps the channel out. And all that's left to be said now is have a great week. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye.